everyone, Karen here, and today we're going to be making a Valentine similar to this one, where when you open it up, it's an easel card, and the flowers appear to be floating on a piece of acetate there. And what we're going to be using is this set from Crafter's Companion. This was a while ago, but I picked this because it had a set of decoupage flowers and the coordinating paper. So everything kind of went together, and I could just pull it out and make this card. Now we're also going to need some red liner tape. I'm going to use 1/16 thick foam. I have a message for the outside that says, "For my love on Valentine." And these are the flowers that I'm going to put inside the cutout. Now, the card is going to be a 5x7, so there's my base. On the front of the card, I'm going to need a piece that is 4.5 by 6.5 and 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And we will cut these, but I'll get to that in a minute because when you cut this in half, you will need an eighth. But if you don't have something that measures by eighth, I'll show you how to do it. The inside of the card is going to need a 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. Then this is the inside message that I have. It says, "Like a garden in full bloom, our love grows more beautiful with each passing day. Each petal is a reminder of the tender moments we've shared. I love you now and always." And then we're also going to need some nesting dies. You can pick whatever nesting dies you have in your stash. You're just going to need two, one size down from each other. And you're going to want to tape them together so we can make this frame. And we are going to need 2 frames. So I cut one ahead of time, and I'll cut the second one during the video. And then I have this piece of paper. It's just what's left from cutting the other one that I'm going to cut the frame out of. Alright, so first let's get the frame cut. So I'm going to take the 2 nesting dies, taped together. I'm going to put them down on the paper, and I'm going to run this through my machine. Alright, so here is what we have cut out. We're going to pop this out. So now we have a frame, and we have this piece here. Now you could use this as your stopper if you had something small to put on the message on the inside. You absolutely could go down one more size in your nesting dies, cut it out in white, and then use that as your stopper if you wanted to. But since I have this larger message here, I'm not going to use this today. So now we have our 2 frames, and now we can start constructing our card. So I'm going to move this to the side, give myself some room here. So I'm going to start with the card base. Now, to make this an easel, we have to fold this front in half. So, of course, to make the 5x7 card base, I have a piece that is 7 long by 10. It is scored at 5, which I already done. And I'm going to score it again at 2.5. Alright. That is all the scoring we will have to do here. Alright, so now this will fold up. Give it a good crease here. I'm going to fold it in both directions because you do want this to be nice and loose. Alright, so this is going to be our base. So we have the 6 3/4 by 4 3/4 and the 4.5 by 6.5. So this is going to be layered on the top. So a couple things I want you to notice when we do this. We want the center part to match. So when we cut this in half, we don't want to center it for each top and bottom, or else you'll end up with a funny gap here in the middle. So there's a couple ways you can go about this. One way you can do it is glue these 2 down together and then cut it out all together. But if you don't think your machine will handle that, we're going to do it as 2 separate pieces. So the first thing we're going to have to do is decide where we want to put the hole. So we're going to take these apart now, and we're going to use the smaller one to cut the hole. Just going to put that in there for now. Now, you want to make sure that when you have your frame is not going to hang over. Because I didn't do that when I did the first card, and I realized once I was done that this here was over a little bit too far. So I don't want to do that again this time. So I'm going to take the frame, and I am going to line it up where I want the frame to be. And then I'm going to place the die in the inside. So I'm thinking about here. I don't think I want the little corner here sticking straight up in the air. I think I want it at an angle. And I also have to take into account what I'm going to put on the inside. Now the shape of your inside message is very important, because if you do one across the bottom, you need to make sure it only takes up this much space here, or else it will show through. Because notice, when this is closed, you can't see the inside message. So you have to be careful about where you place it. So that's why I'm going to place it here onto the side. That way this can be over here, and you won't see it when the card is closed. If you put it here in the middle, then you would have to put your message down here across the bottom, and you'd have to make sure you're only making it about an inch or so it's still hidden inside the card when the card is closed. All right, so that's just something to take into account. So let's get this lined up again and decide where I want this, because this is going to be over here. Now remember, this will be to the edge of the card, so you do have a little bit more space to work with here. So you want this to be here, and your hole is going to be on the inside. So that's going to fit just fine. So that will be like that. So that will be just fine right here. I think I will turn it a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more room. Now if you did a circle, it would be a little different. You wouldn't have to worry about that. So now I'm going to place this here. And I'm going to put this down, put this back over the top, make sure I'm close to where I had it lined up. Yep, that will work just fine. Doesn't hang off the top, doesn't hang off the side. Perfect. All right, let me grab a piece of tape, tape this down. Now I'm going to run this through my machine. Okay, so now we have one hole. So now we need to make sure we're matching everything up to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of temporary glue, and I'm just going to put this on the back here. I just want it to stay in place and not wiggle around when I'm cutting it. So now I'm going to line this up in the middle, get this all nice and centered, because you definitely do not want to do this with wet glue, because it will ooze out all over the place in your machine. So if you just have a little bit of stick glue, that will be fine. You just want something dry, because I will go back and put some regular glue on this once I'm done. Just put a little tab down there, just enough to keep it in place. All right, make sure I'm happy with the placement. I'm going to take my die right here. I'm going to place this in the middle, and you will feel it click right into place. I'm going to put the piece of tape on there, and I will now run this through my machine. All right, so now we have the holes through the two. Now the last thing we need to do is to line it up for the card base. Now make sure you open your card base, because you don't want it to go all the way through. And this is going to be lined up here, like this. Take this off of here. This will once again slide right into place. Now if you think your machine is going to go through all of this all at once, you absolutely can do it all at once. Now I want to stick, nope, I'm not going to use glue on this one. I'm going to use some extra tape. And I will tape that down there. And I will put a piece of tape up here. And maybe one more over here for good measure. Don't want this to move. And in case you're wondering, this is the Post-it tape, and I kind of like it a lot. I think it works rather well. So this now goes through the machine. All right, so here we are. Now, I'm using my Bear machine, and I did have to run it through twice to get it to cut all the way through, but it did cut all the way through. Just pull that out. We will take this off carefully. So the paper's a little thin on this side. There we go. Okay, we are done with this. We don't need this. And we'll pull this piece of paper off. And piece of tape off. And take this one off. erase my 5x7 while I'm right here. Okay, so now we have this. So this here has to be cut in half. So if you have something that measures eighths, you are going to cut this down the side here at 2 3/8. But if you don't have something that cuts by eighths, let me show you what you can do instead. Let me put all this to the side. Give myself a little bit of room here. Here is my paper cutter, guillotine. Now I'm going to take a ruler and I am just going to measure. Take this one. The inside here, which I know is 4.5 by 6.5. So the halfway point on that one is going to be 2 1/4, which is easy enough to find. So let me grab my pencil. I will find 2 1/4 on this side. Which will be right here. I will find 2 1/4 on this side. To be right here. Now I will line this up on the guillotine to cut that part. And we'll make sure that's there and there. Okay, I'll bring it down so where I can see. And then you'll also be able to tell, so 2 1/4 here, if you want to double check yourself, all right, is right here. All right, so 2 1/4, 2 1/4. If you want to check yourself, you'll see that is right there. All right, come down, and that is now chopped in half. All right, so let me bring my base back in. We can start gluing this whole thing together. All right, so we have our 2 frames. We have our inside, we have our top, we have our inside message, and everything else. So let's start with our inside. Now this is going to show when the card is open. All right. Now for balance, I'm going to put it on this way because this is going to be here on this side. So when it's open, I kind of want it to look like this, with the flowers on this side and the wording on this side. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this in. All right, so this will go in the center. That will be like that. Now let's work on the outside. Now, so this is going to go on the bottom. This is going to go on the top. And it will meet here in the middle. Now, what we want to do with these 2 frames is we're going to put the acetate in between these 2 frames. All right, so we're going to lay this one down this way, this one down this way. Make sure they're all lined up good. All right. Now I'm going to take a little piece of red liner tape. Hopefully it doesn't fight with me. We are going to sandwich this in between. Now we want to decide which way we want this to go. Because it's going to be like this. We want to attach the inside points is what we want to attach here. So I'm going to put this little piece here. And I'm just going to snip that off there because that was sticking out a little bit. Let me grab another piece here. Put a piece on the bottom. rub it really good so we can get the paper off. There's the top, there's the bottom. Now I did stick this piece of white on here just so I could keep track of the acetate. And this piece I just kind of cut with the scissors. It's probably about 1/4 of an inch wide. You don't need anything really big for this card. So I'm just going to lay this on here. I'm going to lay this on here. I'm going to snip off the end here so you won't see it. Then I'm going to put another piece of red liner tape on the top of this. This will go across here. Again, let me snip that little piece off. I'll put a piece on the bottom. So you don't need a lot here. Put that there. Rub it really good. Peel the backing off. Which is, you never quite know how that's going to go. Yeah, I don't know if it's the humidity I have down here or what, but sometimes that backing just does not want to come off. So now we're going to line this up. Now I would line it up on the part that doesn't have any adhesive on it because we are going to need a little bit of glue. That would help. But I'm going to use some glue that will give me time to slide this around. Let's put a little glue on the rest of it. Side. So I'm going to line this up here because this won't grab immediately, but that red liner tape is going to. So just make sure you're all lined up before you press down where the red liner tape is. Now you could have done this with one frame, but I just wanted to sandwich the acetate in between the two to make it a little bit more secure. Because I thought if it was just hanging loose in the back, first of all, you might be able to see it if you turn the card over. This will look a lot nicer. And I think it just gives it a little bit more sturdiness if it's wedged in between here. Alright, so we'll just give that a second to dry now. And we will glue this part together. Now this here, we're going to need some more glue, because remember I just kind of stuck a little piece of glue on there to hold it still while I was cutting the pieces out. So we'll just slide that in there. We'll lift this side. Make sure we have glue all along the edge. And there you go. And we'll do the same at the top. Glue all around. And we'll put some glue on the back of this side. I'm not going to pull it. I could pull this off, but I'm just going to leave it. And put glue all the way across, but that will be just fine. Maybe put a little across top here. Alright, we are good. So now we will glue this on. And you're going to want to use a glue for this that's going to give you a moment to get everything lined up. Because you're going to want to make sure these are perfectly lined up before the glue sets. So I'm going to have to work kind of fast with this glue. Something like a call-out glue, which, gives you a moment, might be better. I'm going to be brave. Okay. So I'm going to line this up here. Now I want to make sure that it's not coming across here. But it should just be fine that you're lining up the hole. Alright. Put this on the bottom. Now remember the frame will come over the top of this. we'll just bring that right up to there where it all matches. Right, so now when we fold it, it goes right up to the edge, so we don't have a space in between here. Our paper matches. Now, I've given this a chance to dry. So now we're going to attach this here. Now, when you attach this, you need to make sure that you're only gluing the bottom piece. So you're only going to put glue from here, go along your edge, over to here. Okay. So we're going to lay this down. Make sure it's all matched up. Hold that for a second. Now when we open our card, there we go. It opens flat. This is all matched up here. And then when you open it, it's going to pop up. There we go. So we're all set here. So now we need to color the background here, because I did it in white because I wanted to just give it a little bit of airbrushed look to it, because this is all kind of airbrushed. So let me grab a piece of scrap right here, and let me grab some pink. So I think what I'll use for this is Light Carnation from Gina K. And I'm just going to go around the edge here. Let me make sure I'm coloring the right side. Yep, because there is a front and a back to this. What I'm using here is not symmetrical. So we're just going to go around, give it a little bit of color. Little color here. All there is to that. Now we're going to attach this, which I'm going to use the 1/16 foam. So let me grab this. This will go on here. This will be over here. Here. So now I have a nice dimensional front. Now you could do this on mirror card. That would make it look very nice. Now I'm going to take this and glue this to the front. I'm just going to put some glue on here. Bring in my card. Now I want this on the bottom, so when I open this, it's still going to be able to be seen. So I'm just going to put it down here. About here. I don't want to cover too much of that flower. Yep, that will be good. Okay, now we will do the same for this one. So this is still 1/16 thick, but it's just wider. So with this big area here, it'll just be faster. Then these little skinny pieces sticking out, I'll stick a piece in here. That will work for that. Maybe one more piece over here. All right. And I do, when I cut these strips off, if I have some left, I just stick it back on the roll, and then it's there for next time. So you'll see me just cut length. I just find this a lot faster than all the little dots. But if you have dots, absolutely, cover it with dots. Let me turn this sideways. I can see a little bit better. There we go. Alright, so that's all lined up. Now, you do want something a little bit thicker, and a little bit taller, I should say, for your stopper. So I'm going to go ahead and put another strip of the 1/16 on here. on the inside. Oh, I glued that upside down to what I wanted to. Oh well. Best laid plans. We will put this here. I'm just going to lay it down lightly. Make sure it's all hidden. So now, when I stand up the card, it stands up like that. Alright, so all we have left is the flower in the middle here. Let's grab our pieces. So I have 4 pieces here that I'm going to use for this. Let me bring this down here. So what I was thinking is I will have this here with this flower behind it. Like that. I just need to make sure I glue them together close enough to where it's going to fit in here without touching the edge. Or else you'll lose the effect of it looking like it's floating in the middle. So we'll just take some glue there. And we'll get this set up first. I can make that a little bit bigger. That will be here. Like that. Alright, so that's all lined up now. So now you have a couple choices here. With the decoupage like this, you could either use foam to prop it up. You could just glue them on top of each other. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of a combination of both. So this one here, I'm going to glue straight on. I am going to line this up. Let's see. That is... Wait a minute, give me a second here. Because there is a top and a bottom to this. There we go. Like that. Okay. So there's those 2 pieces on there flat. And you look at it in person, there is some dimension there. But when I put it on here, I want to give it a little bit of height. So what I'm going to do, grab my scissors. I am going to put a little piece of foam on the top. And I am going to glue down the bottom. So let's see here. Make sure I'm putting it the right way. This will sit on here like this. So the foam will go up here. It's now sticking to my hand. Like that. What I'm going to do is bend it with my fingers, give it a little shape. I'm going to put glue on the bottom. Peel the tape off. I'm going to line this up. I'll hold that down for a second to let it grab. Alright, so now all I have to do is attach it. So let me grab the red liner tape and put some across the back here. As I find the end. Alright, so I want a piece that big. That's going to be too big. Cut that off. Alright, bring this in. So this is going to sit like this. Alright, so this is going to need to go across the middle here. Peel the back off. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to leave my finger right there where I know where this is. So you can do this one of 2 ways. Put your finger here, feel around where it's going to go. Or, if you're not really sure, take this, flip it over so the rose is on top. You can fold this down the middle. Place it down like this to where now you can see it's not touching, it's in the center. Press down, and voila, it's stuck in the middle there. There you go. So now when you close it, you can't see the inside message, and you just have the rose in the frame, and then when you open it, it will stand like this. And you can do this with any shaped die. You know the nesting dies up here. It can be round, square, oval, whatever you have. Just take into account what you're going to put on the inside. If you want to put it in the center, you're going to want to put your inside message across the bottom. So just make sure you have something long and skinny. If you have something chunky like this, then just put it to the side and give yourself enough room on the side to where it's covered. So there it is. We are ready for Valentine's. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up, because that is indeed how YouTube counts everything. And until next time, stay crafty.